Ladies and gentlemen, let me tell you something real clear tonight. Life doesn't change all of a sudden. It doesn't turn around because of one big moment. Life shifts because of the small things, those little habits you repeat every single day. And too many people, too many of y'all are out here ignoring the very habits that could take you from average to amazing. I'm not here to sugarcoat it. If you keep ignoring these habits, you're choosing to stay where you are. Small habits shape the direction of your entire life. Most people underestimate the power of the little things they do daily, assuming that real change only comes from dramatic decisions or massive actions. But the truth is, your life is a reflection of what you consistently do, not what you occasionally dream about. When someone reaches a high level of success or fulfillment, it's not usually because of a single lucky break. It's because of the habits they built over time that compound and lead them to greater results. Waking up early, showing gratitude, reading even a few pages a day, or choosing to exercise regularly may not seem like game changers in the moment, but these small habits are seeds being planted. Over time, they grow roots, and those roots establish the foundation of your mindset, your routine, and your opportunity. The way you spend your mornings matters more than you realize. If the first thing you do is reach for your phone, scroll through negativity, and start your day reacting to the world, you're creating chaos from the moment you open your eyes. But if you take a few minutes each morning to ground yourself, set your intentions, and feed your mind with positivity, you're setting a tone for everything that follows. This doesn't require an hour-long routine or some fancy ritual. It just requires consistency. A 5-minute check-in with your goals, your mindset, or even your faith can put you on a completely different path over time. The people who get ahead are the ones who respect the process. They understand that greatness is not built overnight. It's carved out of daily discipline and small sacrifices. You don't wake up fit after one workout, just like you don't become broke after one bad financial decision. But when small bad habits pile up over time, they silently destroy your future. The same goes for small good habits. They build and build, almost visibly, until one day your life looks completely different. It may feel slow, it may feel boring, it may not get applause or attention, but it's working. Every little step forward is momentum, and that momentum turns into progress, and that progress becomes transformation. We live in a world that celebrates the highlight reel. People see the end result and not the thousands of small decisions that created it. So when you're in the middle of doing the small, seemingly insignificant work, it's easy to feel like you're not getting anywhere. But that's where the real winners separate themselves. They stick with it. They trust the process. They value consistency over intensity. It's not about doing something once with passion. It's about doing it every day with purpose. It's brushing your teeth even when you're tired, eating clean even when no one is watching, budgeting your money when it would be easier to spend, and practicing kindness when it would feel better to snap. These small things create character. They build identity. They determine the kind of person you're becoming. Every decision you make is a vote for the person you want to become. When you choose to show up, even in a small way, you're building trust with yourself. That self-trust turns into confidence, and confidence turns into courage. Eventually, the person who once doubted every move they made starts standing taller, thinking clearer, and acting with purpose. It all started with one small habit. Repeat it. So while it might not feel like much to wake up 10 minutes early, or drink a glass of water, or write in a journal for 5 minutes, those things begin to shift your trajectory. 1 degree of change, maintained over time, doesn't just alter your day, it changes your destination. Success is hidden in daily routines most people overlook. It doesn't come from a once-in-a-lifetime moment or some big magical opportunity. It comes from what you do repeatedly without applause, without attention and without anyone watching. People often spend too much time chasing after results while ignoring the habits that produce them. They want to lose weight, but they don't value the power of one clean meal. They want to become wealthy, but they overlook the habit of saving a small amount every day. They want to be confident, but they neglect the habit of speaking positively to themselves each morning. It's these little things, the ordinary and the consistent, that ultimately stack up to extraordinary results. The difference between people who succeed and people who don't is often found in their relationship with routine. The ones who win know how to repeat the same actions over and over, even when those actions feel boring or invisible. They understand that excellence is not a single act, but a habit. They don't let emotions dictate whether or not they follow through. They don't wait to feel inspired or energized. They get up and do what needs to be done, whether they feel like it or not. And in doing so, they create a rhythm, a lifestyle, and a mindset that moves them forward, even when life tries to pull them back. Most people underestimate the power of repetition. They try something for a week or two, and when they don't see results, they give up. What they don't realize is that the breakthrough they're looking for is sitting right behind their consistent effort. Imagine what could happen if they just kept going, if they didn't quit on the process. The person who writes 1 page a day ends the year with a book. The one who saves a few dollars each week ends the year with a safety net. The one who trains a little each morning gets stronger, sharper, and more focused with every sunrise. These daily routines become the difference between progress and regret. Routine builds structure, and structure builds freedom. People think routine is boring, but the truth is, it's the key to unlocking more of what you want in life. When you've got a routine, you eliminate guesswork, you waste less time, and you gain more clarity. You wake up knowing what matters. You spend less energy on distractions and more energy on growth. You're not just reacting to life anymore. You're shaping it, designing it, molding it into what it's supposed to be. That's what winners do. They don't leave their success to chance. They create conditions for it to show up every single day. It's easy to get distracted by the noise of the world, to compare your journey to others and feel like you're not doing enough. But the only thing that matters is whether you're showing up for yourself. Not once, not twice, but over and over again with quiet persistence. You don't have to shout it. You don't have to post it. You just have to do it. And in time, the results will speak louder than anything else. The world might not notice the moment you decide to shift your routine, but your future will feel it. It will respond to the work you're putting in now. All the greatness you're chasing isn't in some far-off destination. It's in how you spend your mornings, how you manage your evenings, how you treat people, how you talk to yourself, and how you stick to the habits you said you'd build. The blueprint for success is already in your hands. It's in your routine. And every time you follow it, you're casting a vote for the person you want to become. Your mindset determines your habits, and your habits shape your reality. Everything begins in your mind. The way you think influences the choices you make, and those choices become habits that define your lifestyle, your work ethic, your relationships, and your overall direction in life. A person with a mindset rooted in growth, responsibility, and determination will naturally develop habits that reflect those values. On the other hand, a person stuck in self-doubt, negativity, or fear will often adopt habits that keep them stagnant or pull them backward. This is why it's not just about changing your behavior, it's about changing your beliefs. Until you believe you are capable of more, you won't act like it. Until you start seeing challenges as opportunities, you'll keep shrinking when pressure comes. Till you train your mind to focus on possibility instead of limitation, your habits will always reflect a smaller version of who you truly are. The mind is a powerful engine. It runs everything. If you feed it fear, you'll live cautiously. If you feed it doubt, you'll avoid risk. If you constantly tell yourself you're not good enough, not ready, not worthy, your actions will mirror that belief. But when you begin to think differently, when you choose faith over fear, growth over comfort, effort over excuses, your entire behavior starts to shift. You start showing up differently. You begin building discipline where there was once hesitation. You begin saying no to things that used to distract you. You begin walking like someone who knows they were made for more. That change didn't start in your schedule. It started in your mindset. The rest followed naturally. Habits don't exist in a vacuum. They are born from repetition, yes, but also from belief. When you truly believe something matters, you make time for it. You don't negotiate it, you build around it. That's why a strong mindset is the most valuable asset you can ever develop. It puts you in the driver's seat. It turns you into someone who doesn't wait for the perfect conditions, but someone who creates them. That kind of mindset turns challenges into fuel. Instead of asking, why is this happening to me? You begin asking, what is this trying to teach me? Instead of quitting at the first sign of difficulty, you lean in and figure it out. You stop reacting and start responding. And from that mindset, new habits are born. Habits of resilience, consistency, and focus. The reality you live in is a reflection of the decisions you make daily. Those decisions are often influenced by how you see yourself and the world around you. Someone with a victim mindset will habitually blame, avoid responsibility, and expect someone else to solve their problems. Someone with a victim mindset will take ownership, rise early, prepare, and persevere even when the odds are stacked against them. The same person with two different mindsets will live two very different lives, not because of their talent, luck, or background, but because of how they think. That's the truth most people overlook. They try to change the outside without dealing with the inside. They want a new life without adopting a new mindset. They want new results without new habits. Everything begins with a thought, a single decision to believe in yourself a little more today than you did yesterday. A single act of challenging the lies you've told yourself. A single step in the direction of the person you want to become. That step may look small on the surface, but inside is a breakthrough. When your mindset changes, the decisions you make change. When your decisions change, your habits change. And when your habits change, your future begins to change as well. The person you dream of becoming doesn't arrive from a single big leap. It comes from thousands of tiny, consistent choices fueled by a mindset that refuses to settle for less than what you're capable of. Discipline isn't motivation. It's the ability to show up when you don't feel like it. Motivation is a great spark. It gets you excited, gets your heart beating a little faster. It might even push you to start something new. But motivation doesn't last. It fades. It disappears when things get hard, when you're tired, when you're discouraged, or when the results don't show up fast enough. That's why so many people start strong but never finish. They rely on a feeling instead of building a habit. Discipline, on the other hand, doesn't ask you how you feel. It doesn't care if you're excited or exhausted. Discipline is a decision. It's a mindset that says, I'm doing this because it needs to be done no matter what. That mindset is what separates the ones who make it from the ones who just talk about making it. Most people wait until they're in the mood to work, to train, to study, to build. But discipline shows up regardless of mood. Discipline wakes up early even when the bed is warm and sleep is tempting. Discipline practices when nobody is watching. Discipline keeps promises to self. It understands that feelings come and go, but the results you want require consistent effort. And that consistency is born out of discipline. The successful aren't always the most talented or the most gifted. They're often just the most consistent. They show up every day, do what's necessary, and keep building even when it's hard to see progress. There will be days when your energy is low, your confidence is shaken, or life feels unfair. That's when discipline becomes your best friend. It becomes the anchor that holds you steady in the storm. While others give in to comfort, you stay committed to the process. While others look for shortcuts, you keep laying one brick at a time. It might not look exciting, and it might not earn you applause, but discipline doesn't care about being flashy. It's about building something real. And the truth is, the people who win in life are not those who do the most in one day. They're the ones who do the right things every day, whether they feel like it or not. Discipline teaches you how to master yourself. It teaches you to lead your emotions instead of being led by them. It's the quiet voice inside that says, get up when you want to quit. It's the part of you that knows your future depends on your decisions today. And the more you listen to that voice, the stronger it gets. The more you honor your commitments, the more confident you become. Not because you're achieving massive things every day, but because you know you're showing up, you're doing the work, and you're not backing down. That trust in yourself is powerful. It creates momentum, and momentum creates transformation. You don't need to feel inspired every morning to be disciplined. You need a clear vision, a strong why, and the courage to take one step at a time. Some days the step will be big, other days it'll be small, but the step still counts. It all adds up. The workouts, the journaling, the studying, the budgeting, the praying, the practicing. All of it is an investment in the life you're trying to build. And the beauty of discipline is that it creates freedom. When you master the hard things now, you earn more choices later. You get to move through life knowing you're capable, not just because you believe it, but because you've proven it to yourself over and over again. Discipline is not a punishment. It's a gift you give yourself. It's the proof that you're serious, that you're ready, that you're not dependent on temporary feelings to create permanent change. Surrounding yourself with the right people is a habit, not luck. Many people believe that having supportive, ambitious, and driven individuals in their life just happens by chance, like some random stroke of good fortune. But the truth is, the people you spend time with are a direct reflection of the standards you set and the choices you make. You attract what you tolerate. If you consistently surround yourself with negativity, gossip, laziness, or excuses, then it's not by accident. It's a reflection of your environment and often your comfort zone. On the other hand, when you actively seek out people who challenge you, inspire you, and push you to level up, that's a deliberate habit you're forming. You're teaching yourself to value growth, accountability, and elevation over comfort and familiarity. The people closest to you are like mirrors. They reflect your behavior, your energy, your goals, and your mindset. That's why it's so important to be intentional about who gets access to your life. If you hang around 5 people who are always complaining, chances are you start to do the same. If you spend time with 5 people who are constantly working on their goals, learning new things, and taking responsibility for their lives, your behavior will start to shift in that direction too. The people around you influence what you think is normal. They influence your beliefs, your habits, your conversations, and your decisions. That influence can either build you up or tear you down. Choosing the right influence isn't about being perfect, it's about being committed to becoming better. Creating the habit of surrounding yourself with the right people means being willing to outgrow certain relationships. It means letting go of those who drain your energy, who don't support your growth, who mock your dreams, or who constantly bring drama and negativity into your space. That can be hard. It can feel lonely, but that space you create by stepping away from what no longer serves you is exactly what makes room for new, better connection. You don't have to hate the people you leave behind, but you do have to love yourself enough to move forward. Growth requires new soil. You can't plant new seeds in the same old toxic ground and expect something healthy to grow. Finding the right people also means being the right person. You can't expect others to be motivated, focused, and growth-oriented if you're not putting in the work yourself. It starts with how you carry yourself. Are you reliable? Do you show up for others? Do you speak life or drain it from a room? People who are striving for greatness are drawn to others who have that same fire. So make your mindset, your energy, and your actions magnetic. Build your character so that the kind of people you want in your life are excited to connect with you. Relationships that push you higher don't happen by coincidence. They happen because you've created the mindset and habits that attract them. This habit is about boundaries, not just bonding. It's about knowing who belongs in your inner circle and who doesn't. Not everyone should have front row access to your life. Some people are meant to be loved from a distance. Some people are only meant for a chapter, not your whole story. That's not cruelty, it's clarity. You have one life, and the voices you allow around you will either lift you or limit you. Protect your peace. Guard your vision. Be bold enough to walk alone if it means staying aligned with your purpose. Because eventually the right people, the ones who match your hunger, your values, and your vision, will find their way to you. And when they do, they'll not only support your growth, they'll accelerate it. That is the power of choosing your circle wisely and consistently making it a habit to keep that circle strong, focused, and aligned with the person you are becoming. Ignoring good habits is the fastest way to stay stuck. Most people don't fail because they lack talent, intelligence, or opportunity. They fail because they ignore the small, consistent behaviors that lead to real progress. It's easy to dismiss good habits because they often don't bring instant rewards. Waking up early, exercising daily, saving money, reading for growth, or practicing discipline doesn't give you a quick thrill or dramatic change overnight. That's why people brush them off. They say they'll start next week, or they say they're too busy, or they convince themselves that these small habits don't really matter. But over time, that neglect creates a gap between where you are and where you want to be. The longer you ignore these habits, the more that gap grows, and eventually it becomes a wall you can't climb without serious effort. Good habits are the building blocks of a strong, successful, and focused life. They create structure, build discipline, and keep you aligned with your goals. But when you ignore them, you allow chaos and inconsistency to take their place. It doesn't happen all at once. It's subtle. You skip one day at the gym and nothing changes. You blow your budget once and it seems harmless. You scroll instead of studying or practicing your skill, and you tell yourself you'll catch up later. But those moments pile up. Before you know it, the path you were building starts to fade. You lose momentum. You lose clarity. You stay busy, but you're no longer productive. You talk about growth, but your actions tell a different story. Habits are like investments. The more you invest in them, the more they grow and give back. But if you stop investing, the growth stops. You can't make progress in your life by hoping for better outcomes while continuing to ignore the practices that lead there. You can't want financial freedom and ignore saving. You can't want health and energy and ignore the choices you make every day. You can't want peace and ignore the importance of rest, boundaries, or spiritual alignment. Wanting more is not enough. You have to build your life around the habits that lead to more. Ignoring them won't just slow you down, it will keep you repeating the same cycles of frustration, regret, and excuses. People often think they're stuck because of external forces, bad luck, difficult circumstances, lack of support. But more often, it's the daily choices being ignored. The habit of planning your day, reflecting on your goals, practicing gratitude, setting limits, or taking care of your health. These habits are within your control. When you ignore them, you give away your power. You start reacting to life instead of leading it. That's when you feel stuck. That's when you feel lost, tired, or directionless. It's not always about needing a huge change. It's about returning to the habits you know are right for you, the ones that keep you aligned, focused, and strong. There's a cost to neglect. Every time you skip a good habit, you pay with missed growth. You pay with lost time, decreased confidence, and scattered focus. You start questioning yourself, doubting your potential, and believing you're further behind than you really are. But in reality, the solution is often simple. Get back to the basics. Reclaim the habits that build you. Start small, stay consistent, and be honest about what you've been avoiding. That honesty will show you the truth, not that you're incapable, but that your progress is waiting on your daily actions. Your future is shaped by what you practice, and ignoring those practices only delays the life you were meant to live. Habits don't just create routines, they create identity. When you ignore them, you forget who you're capable of becoming. When you practice them, you begin to remember. And that remembering is what gets you unstuck and back in motion toward everything you've been praying, working, and hoping for.